Welcome, Fright Night Vault listeners. Tonight's story is a quiet scream, a tale of grief, of promises broken, and of something unholy returning to honor a pact that never should have been made. We're going to a small, forgotten town, the kind of place that never made the maps and doesn't want to. Dirt roads, sagging porches, and secrets that settle like mold in the walls. The family at the center of this story has always been private, old school, devout in their own strange way. For generations, they've lived by a single whispered rule: never bury your kin on a Sunday. The reason why is never explained, only that if you do, something buried doesn't stay put. Our narrator, Daniel, doesn't believe in family curses. He left the town years ago, big city, clean conscience. But when his younger sister dies under strange and sudden circumstances, he's called back home. The funeral is rushed, the ground is cold, and the only time they can get the cemetery crew out? Sunday. They bury her at dusk. The next night, Daniel begins hearing her voice, not in his dreams, in the walls. She whispers his name. Sometimes she cries, sometimes she laughs, but always, she's moving somewhere nearby. He thinks it's grief, shock, maybe some deeply buried guilt rising to the surface. But then other people start to hear it too. His mother, his neighbor, the priest. They say her grave looks wrong, sunken, breathing, and every morning the earth on top looks freshly disturbed. Daniel sets up a camera, puts salt at the threshold, lights candles, but the thing wearing his sister's voice doesn't knock. It doesn't wait, and it doesn't want to be invited in. It's already in. This story is not about resurrection. It's about what happens when something else answers your call, when sorrow cracks the veil between the living and the dead, and something ancient slips through wearing a face you love. For best effect, headphones on, lights off. Let the story reach you in the dark. We release original horror stories like this every night. And if you enjoy being unsettled in all the right ways, subscribe and join us. No creepypasta, no recycled tales, just one carefully written scare after another. And if you've ever lost someone, only to hear their voice again when no one else was around, we'd like to hear about it in the comments. The vault is always open to new whispers. The story starts now. Her name was Lily. We buried her on a Sunday. The priest was late. The sky was heavy, gray like smoke, and the ground at St. Agatha's refused the shovel. We should have taken it as a sign, but we didn't have time to second guess. The town was already whispering. No autopsy, no wake, just a rushed service, a closed casket, and the feel of a mistake settling into my chest like wet cement. I hadn't seen my family in years. Moving back into the house I grew up in felt like stepping into a photograph, one where everyone had aged but the shadows stayed the same. That first night I couldn't sleep. I heard scratching, soft at first, from the corner of my room. Then a whisper. "Danny." I froze. It sounded like her. Not just the tone, but the rhythm. The way she used to say my name when she needed something. I told myself it was grief, that my brain was reaching for her in the dark. But it wasn't just me. Mom said she heard her footsteps on the stairs. Our neighbor, Mrs. Dalka, said she saw Lily's bedroom light flick on around 3 a.m. and someone standing in the window. The grave kept sinking. By day 3, I dug up the footage from the camera I'd placed outside. I was expecting animals, kids, a sick prank. Instead, I saw the soil move. From the inside, the camera glitched. The screen went black for exactly 12 seconds. When it came back, the grave was flat, covered, like nothing had happened. But Lily's bedroom door was wide open. I hadn't left it that way. And then came the smell. Rotting flowers, old water, a copper sting that clung to my throat. I followed it down the hall. It led to the bathroom. The mirror was fogged up from the inside. 3 words had been drawn into the condensation with a fingertip. "You let me." That night, I bolted my door, salted the frame, slept with the lamp on. At 2:33 a.m. the power went out, and I heard her crying, not in the walls this time, in the hallway, just outside my door. She said, "I'm cold." She said, "Let me in." She said, "You promised." I don't remember making any promise, but when I was a kid, Lily used to ask me, "Will you always be there for me?" And I'd say yes. I always said yes. That must have been enough, because something came back wearing her voice, her sadness, her need. But whatever it wasn't her. It scratched the door. It sobbed like a child. It laughed when I cried. And then, silence. I moved out the next day, told my mother she should sell the house. She didn't answer. A week later, I got a call. The house had burned. No foul play, electrical. They never found her remains. But the neighbor swears she saw Lily that night, standing at the edge of the woods, wearing her old Sunday dress, smiling. That was the last time anyone ever set foot in that house. If you made it to the end and want more stories like this, like, share, and subscribe to Fright Night Vault. We'll be here, waiting, night after night.